Hey guys, welcome once again to Ringsiders, and welcome once again to our friend, the wonderful Cary Silkin. Hello, Cary.
Hey, I don't feel that wonderful today, but that's all right. Good to
Well,
see. Always good
That's
to see you
still
guys.
wonderful,
You'll perk me up.
You always pack us up when you come on the show, so hopefully we can do the same for you.
I know you never believe us, Cary, but we truly love this more than anything. We look forward to speaking to you.
I don't believe you love it more than anything, but
Maybe not than anything, but when it comes to doing what we do with Ringsiders, it's definitely up there, Gary.
well, thank you.
And I was only saying to Jamie the other day, I've been listening to the Young Bucks biography again, second time listening. I've got the audio book, absolutely brilliant listen and read. And I was saying to him, there's some parts of the book where they mention yourself. And the things that they say about you are absolutely lovely. And I was saying to Jamie, he really needs to listen to it or read it because just for the parts about yourself. And I love the way that the Young Bucks mention you and talk about you, because having spoken to you so many times now, I can just picture it in my head. And the Young Bucks were saying about how when they first met you, they were super thankful for the contracts that you offered them in Ring of Honor. And they did actually credit their early success to yourself. So that must be nice. Have you had a chance to listen or read the book yet?
I read it.
What did you think?
I might not have read all of it, but yes, I looked through it and I was very flattered by the nice things they said. They even had a picture with me in it, with somebody. I forget what was that picture? I can't remember. It was me and it was a couple of people. I don't even think they were in the picture. But yeah, when the Young Bucks first came to Ring of Honor, Adam Pearce was working behind the scenes. So it was during the period we were doing the HD net tapings.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're talking about definitely 2009. Maybe they came in 2008, but certainly 2009. So I remember him telling me about this tag team, and I'm like, well, where do they live? In California. I'm like, we're going to fly two guys in from whatever. They were able, they probably only got paid the first time like $75 each, $50, something like that, maybe 100 tops. Put it this way, the plane fare was more than what they were getting paid for sure. But Adam told me, you're going to love these kids as far as, in the ring. And he was right. They were very special. So as we've spoken about on your podcast with my various friendships and relationships with these wrestlers, I think we were talking about Bryan Danielson last time.
Yeah.
Even though I worked with him for many years, we weren't like super close. But I hit it off with the Bucks right away. I remember we're talking 12, 13 years ago. So I was in much better shape at the time. So I used to like to jog a lot.
Yeah.
Which I just can't do anymore. But anyway, so we were in Philly and I said to them, why don't you guys go for a run with me? And they were like, they didn't want to turn down the boss.
Yeah.
Right? Like as good shape as they're in, they weren't like, and I was, I didn't jog fast, but I could jog like, 4 or 5 miles. I would stop along the way.
Yeah.
I remember driving to downtown Philly. I was like, I know what I'll do. Because where that arena is, that ECW place.
Yeah.
That's in South Philly. It's a very funky neighborhood. So I put him in the car. We drove into downtown Philly where, not where the Rocky statue is. That's another part. But it's all these historical buildings. and I don't know, the town hall, and where they signed the Declaration, the American Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
And so we just started going, and I took them like on this path where we saw these. It's funny, we saw these nice historic buildings, but that doesn't last very long, because within a half mile, you're in a very, as you guys would say, you're in a very dodgy neighborhood.
I get you.
Right. So we went from this very touristy neighborhood immediately into this dangerous neighborhood. I mean, it was broad daylight, but whatever. We were probably the only white guys around. And here's these three white people running. It's just strange. But it led us to where there's a river, the Delaware River. You ever hear where George Washington crossed the Delaware, right?
Yeah.
So that's nice there. And then we went back, and I remember on that ride back making an illegal left turn unbeknownst to me, and a cop pulls me over, and he was nice. I just said, hey, I mentioned the arena and the wrestling, hoping he'd be a fan. He didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Anyway, so from that point, there was another time at ECW at the arena after a taping. Excuse me, we were doing a Friday and Saturday, or it could have been a Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't remember, but it was 2 days in a row. So after the first night, at my house where I was living from there at the time was maybe a little over an hour. I had the house I had then had like two bedrooms, and then there was a whole downstairs with couches. There was couches. No, so I took the Bucks, Tyler Black, and Jerry Lynn, who I was tight with Jerry and Tyler, Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins. This was the era when Rock Band and Guitar Hero was like a big.
Oh yeah.
And I was playing rock. I used to like to do Rock Band. Well, Tyler Black. Did you ever play that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tyler Black can play expert on guitar.
Why am I not surprised?
And so you know who else? You know who else can play expert? A noted Ring of Honor, still with the company. You'll never guess in a million years.
Jay Lethal.
All right, I'll give you a guess. Who's been with Ring of Honor for pretty much forever? And it's not a lot of guys.
Lethal?
Good guess, but no.
I can't think.
Todd Sinclair.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Referee? Wow.
Right. And so he would have came to my house, but he was allergic to cats. I had 2 cats at the time. The great Farina and Lamb Chop. Lamb Chop passed away earlier this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we went back to my house because I had the whole setup, with the bass guitar, regular guitar, drums. Nick from the Bucks was a good drummer. He played drums like he had played drums at one point in his life. And Tyler's expert. And Jerry had a good sense for music. But the funny thing was Matt Buck couldn't play bass. What do they call the simplest setting?
Oh, it's like the beginner one. I know which one you.
Right.
Yeah.
So where the bass notes are coming like boom.
Yeah. Really slowly.
Very slow. Right. But I found that odd that he was able to do all these ridiculous moves in the ring and have incredible timing, right? And be able to remember these sequences of these matches, but he couldn't play bass guitar on beginner. And but yeah, so as far
See,
as
I always found that weird because I play guitar, but yet I could never play Guitar Hero. I couldn't do it. But yeah,
go ahead.
I play guitar.
I had another friend of mine who's a very good guitar player that had the same. I was like, Barrett is not a wrestler. How can you not? You know,
Yeah.
He goes, you can't do it. He goes,
Yeah.
But be that as it may, you know, some of these songs like, there was a Metallica song. I forget which one that was like super, you know, like super hard.
Saint Anger was on there, wasn't it?
Which one?
Saint Anger.
Maybe, but regardless, Tyler was crazy. Anyway, so I would hang out with all those guys. Jerry eventually left, and so did Tyler. That was like 2010, and I would just hang out with the Bucks because they didn't drink. At the time, I wasn't drinking. And same as I've told you before with Seth Rollins, he used to like to stay with me.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't partying. He didn't want to be in a room with four guys getting stoned and drunk. So same with the Bucks. They're, and you read in their book. So I would stay with them on the road, not every time, but often. And just like I mentioned with Seth Rollins, the other wrestlers must have been thinking like, oh, what's going on there? There was nothing going on. But so they were with Ring of Honor. When did they go to TNA?
2009, 2010.
No.
Is it?
Well, they were in Ring of Honor 2009 and 10, pretty much straight through. And I think between 2010 and 2011, they left. And I sold the company, and we brought them back in. That's when Jim Cornette was working with us, and he was a lot more polite to them than he is now.
Yeah.
But he just wanted them to change their style. And because of the kind of wrestling he likes. But whatever. So over the years with the Bucks, I was in California a few times where they live. I got to know their parents, right?
Yeah.
And we went to a Jethro Tull concert once. We would go to, Nick likes to gamble. Matt doesn't. He likes to play slots. Not like those crazy slots we spoke about. You guys have.
Yeah. Golf, yeah.
American style slots. So I spent time, I spent time at their place out there. And when they would come to my area, if it was geographically sensible, they would stay here.
Yeah.
Like one time, Chikara had King of Trios or something, which was from where I'm living now. The place that they ran it was like a mile from here for some odd reason. So that was cool. So anyway, I was always close with the Bucks. Right up until the time they left, I was sort of disappointed that they didn't smarten me up to what was going on, but I understand, with the whole Tony Khan thing.
Yeah.
In other words, they knew that was happening, but they weren't even though they could have told me and it would have been, whatever. I get it. So, and yeah, man, it's like I haven't seen them. Hopefully this year, and I speak to them once in a while. I was joking around with them. I was talking to Nick on the phone, and he's like, "Why don't you come down to Jacksonville?" I'm like, I don't. First of all, it would sort of be disrespectful to Ring of Honor, even though there would really be nobody would. I know Joe Koff, and he wouldn't feel that way, but it just wouldn't be cool.
No, it's understandable. Yeah,
I get that. I get that. Absolutely, yeah.
I say, I don't know if I'd feel welcome, Nick. He goes, "What are you kidding?" You know, so because there's so many guys, you know, those guys, Daniels, Kazarian, there's a laundry list of guys. And anyway, so hopefully I'll get to see them this year when they go back on the road, because they have a show in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center that's been postponed. So, but they're wonderful kids and good family. I used to take them around New York City, which I will do with you guys, hopefully at some point.
Absolutely.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Bring them to the cool parts of town, take them down to the Village, take them down to Little Italy, show them where John Lennon was, you know, by Central Park, where John Lennon was shot. Obviously, the whole Times Square thing. But yeah, I miss them. They're good people.
It sounded like that you've made a lasting impression on them in this book. I mean, there was one chapter where you came up, and I thought, oh, it's nice to mention you. But then you came up 2 or 3 times throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
And I thought you must really have made an impression on them and had a big effect on them for him to mention you so many times, because, you know, even when they were talking about leaving Ring of Honor, they said how bad they felt for not being able to tell you they were going to TNA at one point. But they said you were so opening when they did come back to Ring of Honor. You were there and you just said, yeah, cool, come back. And, you know, I think that really speaks a lot about yourself and the relationship you had with those guys. So, yeah, it's just a really good read, really good listen. Yeah. If anyone is listening and they haven't read it yet, definitely go out and read it.
I hate to put myself over. I hate all those expressions. But, and it's in the book. So in case someone thinks I'm making this up, they could read it. I'm responsible for their merchandise empire.
They knew nothing about merchandising until they spoke with you, and you taught them about everything to do with it.
You know, they were ready to quit. Check this out. In around 2012, 13, they were in a really bad spot. You know, Matt I think he had his second kid, or the second kid was on the way. Nick, they both got married really young, and Nick might have had a kid, but they weren't making money. The indie scene was different. Things were rough, and they were ready to give up. And I told them, I said, why don't you guys get a website with some merch? You know, well, we don't have the money, right? So I helped them out, and they became, even before the whole AEW thing, you know, they had good luck too. You know, I got them started, and then the whole thing happened in Japan with the, why can't I think of the name? Come on.
The Bullet Club.
Thank you. Yeah, so them being put with part of that, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it's we've actually met them, haven't we, Callum, ourselves?
Lovely,
and they are lovely guys.
I've got my picture on the wall with me in the
book. There we go.
There you go.
I forgot he got a picture of him kissing him, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I said to him, can we do something a bit different for my picture, please? I said, yeah, what do you want? I said, can we do the Adam Cole? And I said, you want us to kiss you? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I meant that.
Callum, I dare you to post that.
Oh, I had it as my profile picture for a long time.
Yeah, when they made their farewell speech, it's not on. I don't think it's on YouTube even. At the night they left, at the end, after All In, after that whole thing, we don't need to get into the details, but Ring of Honor laid the red carpet out for them, unbeknownst, whatever, just the way it is. But their last night in New York City, and then the very last night was in Philly, when the Bucks, Cody, all those guys were leaving. At the end of the night, they gave a very nice. Ring of Honor was nice enough to give them the ring, literally, and I was watching it sort of not from the back the curtain, but from just the back of the building, and I think Matt said, "Where's Cary?" So I moseyed up and dragged my ass into the ring. I used to be able to run 5 miles. Now I could barely get in the ring. So I got my nice kiss from him in front of 1,800 people. So whatever. They're good boys.
I think we should we'll post both our pictures tonight, Callum, with them and tag them and Cary in it.
Of course.
Because I can't remember what the picture I've got with them. I'm laughing my head off. So they must have said something funny to me. I don't know what. I can't remember. But I was caught in the moment in like this hysterical laughter. And for the life, I can't remember what now. But
they are great guys. Yeah,
they are. I mean, just moving aside from the Bucks as well, though, Cary, I was curious. Well, you mentioned Cody. Did you get to work much with Cody? I know he was at Ring of Honor. Was you around him much?
Well, for 2 years.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Dusty as well? I mean, do you see a lot of Dusty and Cody? Is there a lot of resemblance?
Well, I met Dusty once, and he did a shoot interview. Well, he was in Ring of Honor like way back for one show.
Yeah.
And then he came in for a shoot interview, and I was there. And he was telling me I looked like, he goes, I was just sitting in the back of the hotel room where we're doing it. And he goes, he's looking over, goes, "Hey, wake up there, Vern Gagne." I go, "Vern Gagne?"
Oh, man.
Wow.
But as far as Cody is Cody, very smart.
I feel like he's got Dusty's mind for the business.
He's very smart.
Yeah.
Was I buddy with him? Not really, but he's a class. He's all right. He's a classic old school worker.
Yeah.
Every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And I take that as a compliment. Believe me.
Oh yeah. I remember when we met the Bucks, we met Cody as well and Brandy on the same day. And when we told him,
where was that?
It was in the UK. The Ring of Honor did a UK tour in 2000
in Doncaster. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we happened to tell Cody, we're flying out to Chicago for All In a few months. And he was so nice to me and Callum and our friend Rivers. He was just telling us all these great places to go in Chicago, and he was super friendly. And Brandy as well. They were both so kind to us.
They're nice people.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But obviously, I mean, does it surprise you how successful? I'm going back to the Bucks. I mean, are you surprised how successful they have actually been, or did you see it from the start?
You're talking about AEW?
In general, I mean, they've had success everywhere they've gone. They've been successful. They've won championships, main evented, especially Ring of Honor. They've done everything wherever they've been. So did you know that was coming?
With the Bucks, they put in a lot of time to it. If you really think about it, literally working as kids, right? Where their father built a ring.
Yes.
And all that. So you're talking about them being like, I don't know, 12 years old and 10 years old, Nick's a couple of years younger.
Yeah.
Like that. And then eventually working these small shows in California. I think when I met them in 2009-ish, what were they, like 21 and 18, something like that? Or maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 37. I think they're younger than me, aren't they?
The Young Bucks, Matt is 36 and Nick is 32, I believe.
Yeah.
So how old were they in 2019? Do the math.
20 and 24.
2009, excuse me.
20 and 24.
Okay. Yeah. Once again, they were not an overnight hit.
No.
Everyone sees them now as, these big stars, which they are, but they really worked hard. And Cody too. I mean,
yeah,
he's very ballsy and took a huge risk on himself to leave WWE. You're making a good salary there. I don't know what he was making, but let's just say it's $250,000, right? Something.
I'm going to say it'll have been in the six figures, won't he? So,
but more than that. But he wasn't happy with the way he was used. He's a very good, so when he came to Ring of Honor and was also working in New Japan, right? It's like he smelled it,
Yeah.
It's like you guys with your podcast. It started small, but you smelled you had something. Like me with the ticket business, sometimes you smell the right show.
Yeah.
Sometimes I smell a show and it's no good, but sometimes you're gonna hit it, but there's a lot of work involved. So anyway, with Cody, he's very bright. I mean, look at AEW. Who gets the biggest entrance?
Cody. He's the only person who comes out in the middle.
Who's the only guy that comes out of the middle?
Yeah. So, I've never actually, that's never crossed my mind till you've just said that. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So hey, look, he deserves it because, he worked hard and plus his television stuff and his movies, his minor movie stuff.
Yeah.
He's got the look. He's got the heritage, and it's paying off for him. So God bless him. It's like when those guys left, that was exactly at the time we had the Madison Square Garden show coming up. So when people bought tickets in August of 2018 for Ring of Honor at the Garden, besides everybody thought it was going to be Ring of Honor, which was Cody and the Bucks and Daniels and Kazarian and whoever, they Marty, that whole package, right?
Yeah.
And so when they left in December, there was some talk. There was talk behind the scenes, and also there was talk by the public of, are people going to go to the Garden because it was sold out? Are they going to go to the Garden and go? Put it this way: no one went to the Garden, and there were no chance of we want Cody.
Yeah,
didn't happen. But would we have rather had them there? Of course. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
It worked out anyway, and God bless them.
Absolutely. Before Callum tells me how long we've got, because we never like to run out of time, I have to ask you one thing as well. I mean, was you ever surprised that they didn't sign for the WWE?
Yes. Yeah, you're referring to the Bucks, right?
The Bucks, sorry, yes.
Yeah. they must have had some. They must have gone for a try. They had to have some kind of.
They mentioned that they did go for a couple of tryouts with the WWE.
And they've met Triple H, haven't they? They've had meetings with Triple H and things. Yeah.
Yeah, you look. You guys know this. You just don't know how WWE is going to think. You don't know. You know, they want these bigger guys. That's their, you know, that's their standard is for having the Roman Reigns type, the Bobby Lashley types, you know, Seth Rollins has got some height. He's not giant, but you know, the Braun Strowmans and the Bray Wyatts. And so when it comes to these smaller guys like Bryan Danielson,
yes,
they're just in general, they're held down.
Yeah.
So the Bucks were looked at as just another one of those high-flying tag teams. There's a million of them out there. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just saying. I would imagine that's the way they were thinking.
So, I get that totally.
If I'm honest, I feel like WWE, if they'd have signed them, it was only to stop the momentum that they had. Because I feel like the WWE realized they were onto something. And if they did sign them, it was just to stop them doing whatever they were going to do. Because at the time, they were revolutionizing wrestling by not being in WWE. They were making the most money, more money than some people signed to WWE, just on merchandise. And you could tell they had all these ideas for the wrestling industry, like with All In. And I feel like they knew that was happening. So they'd have just signed them and probably done nothing with them. And I might be wrong. They might have done something with them.
I think you're exactly right. And they did sign a lot of guys just to keep them away.
Oh, they did.
From the other companies. But yeah, if there's a bottom line, the bottom line is you just don't know how WWE is going to think. Look at Cesaro, for example.
Well, I was going to mention him to you, actually. Obviously, you brought him up. That was what I was going to quickly ask you as well. I mean, what's your thoughts on Cesaro now? Obviously, getting that push. You've known Claudio.
Oh, what a lovely guy. You know, I wasn't buddy with him, but we were friends, and was always such a hard-working guy. He might have a beer, and that was about the end of it. So talented. He had the size. He had the talent. He had a unique style with that, I'll just call it this European, just a different style. And I'm so happy for him now. You know, he's had so many incarnations, him and Sheamus. And then wasn't there a period of time a year or two ago where he just wasn't, he was almost off TV.
He was just never there. And then I think they kind of brought him back and paired him with Shinsuke, didn't they? And now obviously, it seems to have ended up in tag teams. Obviously, Sheamus, Tyson Kidd, Shinsuke. I think now he's finally getting that push, you know, that he rightfully deserves. I mean, WrestleMania Backlash last weekend, he just looked like he belonged right in that ring next to Roman Reigns.
Because he always has. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it goes back to for the fifth time, you don't know how they're going to think.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? And they don't always think right, obviously, but like Cesaro is such a talent, and I'm really happy for him. I'm really, really happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Seth and Brian and all the guys that, you know, all these guys, Samoa Joe, who I got a feeling is going to be back in WWE. I got a feeling. I'd love to have them. You know, right now, Samoa Joe, CM Punk, and Brian are all sort of free agents.
Yes. Yeah.
And boy, would that be nice if they came to ROH.
Oh, God. Don't tease us, Cary. That would be
especially
amazing.
With next year being the 20th anniversary.
My God.
Unreal. That would be one of the biggest shows to happen in the last decade if they came back.
That's, that would be special. So maybe we could get one of them. Maybe we get two of them. Maybe we get all of them. But we'll see. And then, another mysterious thing, another guy who I was very close with, Adam Cole.
Yes.
And Kyle also I was close with. That whole crew in NXT and Bobby Fish and Kushida, right?
Yeah.
And, I don't understand why at some point they wouldn't be elevated to the main rosters of Raw or SmackDown. Maybe you guys understand. Maybe you do they just want them in NXT only? It seems that way.
Who knows? Who knows at this point?
Yeah, that's it. Like you said, you never know what they're thinking. I think sometimes it's what mood Vince McMahon's in, isn't it? So you never can tell. I personally like them in NXT. I think they make the show. I see it as a third brand. I don't class it as a developmental. It's a third brand. Yeah, I think the problem, they are the guys to build that brand around.
The problem is, I agree with you, Jamie. It's not developmental anymore, but it's also not. They don't see it as a main roster brand, and the reason is the NXT Championship doesn't count as a world championship, and until it does, it will always be developmental to them, I think.
Right, but if, for example, they took just pick two names, they took Adam and Kyle.
Yeah.
And they'd probably get buried, number one, if they went to the main roster. Right?
That's what scares me.
But at the same time, they're exposed to a new audience because I believe the Raw and SmackDown fans, there's a lot of them that do not watch NXT.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
They don't even know what NXT is.
Yeah.
So it's like, and this is the problem with pro wrestling, and there's a lot of problems, but one of them is you can't miss anybody if they don't go away.
True.
So if you move them up, I'm sure there's guys, look at Tommaso Ciampa. There's another one. He certainly could compete, Raw and SmackDown. And one guy who's been successful with that transition is, I'm going to forget his WWE name now, but Punishment Martinez.
Yep,
Damian Priest. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
He had an advantage because he had the size.
Yeah.
So, but if Bryan can make it, and there's other guys. Look at the Miz. The Miz, he's not very big.
No.
Yeah. No, totally agree.
So I would give them a shot, and you want to see these rosters change.
Yeah.
It's in the old days, there was like a big deal. I'm going back.
Yeah, Cary, I forgot what we was even saying before we cut off. I think
That's all right. I got something to say.
Well, you was talking about you want the guys to get a chance on the main roster. Adam Cole,
he said he's got something to say.
No, that's all right.
Go for it. No, go for it. What you got to say?
I went to Ring of Honor for the first time.
Oh, really?
I went down to the tapings last week in Baltimore. Obviously, I can't say anything about the tapings.
Yeah.
Except this is except it was really good. It was so, even despite these stupid restrictions from the wonderful Baltimore Athletic Commission, it was so good to see these guys. The ones I haven't seen, which is most of them, whatever, Silas Young, Vinny, PCO, Danhausen, the Briscoes, so on and so forth. Shane Taylor and just everybody. Tracy Williams. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head who I ran into. Quinn McKay. I didn't see everyone, but I saw most of them. And I went down there. It was like a 3-hour ride. I went down there. I stayed overnight, and then I went to the taping the next day. And it's not the same.
No.
It's just not the same. The wrestling is fabulous. The production is fabulous. But from the way I would see it, it's just not the same. So I didn't stay, I didn't stay for the 2 days. I could have, but I stayed for like half of one day, and I saw some guys the night before. But the big news is July 11th, 7/11. We are doing the first Ring of Honor show back in front of a live crowd. It's going to be in Baltimore, and there's more shows to be announced. I'm not at liberty to say, but there's going to be 2 shows in August at a geographical friendlier location to me, and some other ones as we roll out. Sinclair's main thing is doing this very carefully.
Yeah, we're excited. I haven't seen this week's. I watch it on Fight TV. That's what I'm going to be doing when we finish this call. I've caught up with last week's. I'm loving the potential pairing of Danhausen and PCO.
Yeah,
I think that's incredible. Absolutely perfect. And
I'll tell you who else. I don't know if underrated is the right word, because it's big. He's a big star, but he hasn't. Shane Taylor.
Oh yes,
he's so good.
Yeah.
And we were talking about guys that could make it in other companies, WWE particularly. Well, I don't want him to make it right now.
No.
But here's a guy, he's got it all. And his teammates, Khan, and what's the other guy's name? I forget.
Oh, I know you mean the I forgot the name myself. The squad. Right. I know. Yeah,
that's all right. I forgot. If I could forget it, you guys forget. But these guys, they're so good. And I got to see a Danhausen match at the tapings. I won't give the results away, but him and Rhett Titus. And the Ring of Honor women's division has been rolling out really well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good things going on in the current Ring of Honor. I just want to duly note that. We talk about all these guys that have left and these other companies. I just want to give a shout out to the current Ring of Honor crew, which is just, it's fabulous. So
well, I think Callum said before the roster is one of the best rosters you've seen.
Yeah, it really is. That's not just hyperbole. It really is one of the best Ring of Honor rosters, and that's saying something, because the Ring of Honor roster's always been good, but I feel like the talent now, it's just as good as before, if not better. It's just a different product at the moment. And
yeah, it's hard. It's like if you took one of your favorite football teams, soccer, but and you talked about Manchester United in this era, or was it bet? You know what I'm saying? So
I get it. Yeah.
So if you took, I don't know what years that they were great or whatever team was great, but you take the best year of Manchester United, one of the best years, and then a previous era in the I don't know 2010 or whatever. It's just different. It's just a different chemistry. But thank you. The Ring of Honor crew now is as good. People say, "Oh, well, this is just Cary talking." What do you mean? There's no Bryan Danielson. There's no Nigel McGuinness. But it's different and it's good. But and it's amazing to see the Briscoes.
I love seeing them.
20 years. 20 years of Briscoes. And it's wonderful. And Lethal, although he had his TNA run, I always think of him as like a lifer almost.
Oh, he's a Ring of Honor guy. I look at Lethal, I look at the Briscoes, almost like I look at the way the Undertaker was with WWE and Sting with WCW. You know, it's that kind of you think of those guys straight away.
They're the foundation.
Yes. Yeah.
And guys that aren't, you know, ultra main eventers, and I'm not, but like I just mentioned, Rhett Titus, right? He's been there since 2006.
Great talent.
Cheeseburger, good old,
yes.
You know, the world famous CB. He doesn't want to. He's been there for like 11, 12 years now. So it's really good. It's really good, and it's going to get better.
I'll tell you one thing before we do start to wrap up. One person me and Callum are big fans of, and that's Brian Johnson.
One of the best heels in wrestling right now.
A great promo, right? That guy can speak.
Right. You know, it's like you legitimately don't like him.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't like the guy. He has, you know, he's bullying Danhausen right now for a start, so I don't like him anyway. But even if it wasn't against Danhausen, I'd still think he's a prick. So
he's a prick.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Some of the talent, like I said, Brian Johnston, Dak Draper, another guy.
Look at him. You know, I know we're leaving out a ton of names here, and then you got Sarah. I'll give you another guy who's like almost he's turning into a lifer. Silas Young.
Yes. Love Silas. True story. I've actually got Silas Young's phone number because we were trying to get him on the show, but we could never seem to get it sort of correct. But I've actually got Silas Young's phone number. There we go.
Jimmy, flexing on the show, really.
Flexing. There we go. Getting the names in. I'm a big fan of Silas. I think Silas Young is an incredible talent. I absolutely love that guy.
We were talking about, you know, Cody being a worker. There's a guy who is a worker. You know, he could work babyface, work heel, work tag teams. He could do hardcore stuff if need be. He can wrestle. He's a great wrestler. He's like, you know, it's just the guy you want to have on the crew.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love the guy. He's one of my favorites. And he just looks like the kind of guy I could go and sit and have a whiskey with in the bar after a show. You know, he'll
definitely have a whiskey or two with you. And hopefully we'll be getting, when what's going on in the UK? When's Mark Haskins going to be able to come here?
I think they've started allowing travel at the Callum from Monday just gone, the 17th. And they've got like green list, amber list, red list. So there's countries you can go to, you can't go to. I think the US, I think you are on the green list at the Callum. I could be wrong, but I would like to think in a few months' time anyway, because I know me and Callum want to get back out there as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, you'll be able to get here. Hopefully this thing is behind us. It's been a small nightmare.
Yeah.
Not a small one. It's been a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think we're coming to the other end of it, and we'll be together, and hopefully, if I'm not dead, we'll be together in Dallas.
We'll be together in Dallas. Positive thinking.
We will be there. We will see you in Dallas.
Christ. I'm worried about making it for another 10 months.
We'll be there. We'll be there in Dallas. We also pretend. I mean, if we can, I'd like to go out for Ring of Honor's 20th anniversary, Callum.
Oh,
if that's what we can do. So
that's a bucket.
Well, that's if I had a guess, and there certainly has not been a decision made. I would hope that it would be in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know, or at least Philly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys might have to you might have to attend both of them or whatever you can do.
We'd love to.
We'd love to have you.
We would love to, but I can guarantee you this, though, Cary, you will see us in Dallas, and we will have a cigar together. I can promise you that.
Okay. And then I could get a photo kissing Callum.
Yeah, we can get our own picture like the Young Bucks.
Wait a minute. It should be you two guys kissing me.
Yeah,
there we go. We'll do that.
We can
will do
recreate
that.
that picture.
Hell yes. I will frame that on my wall. I would love to do that.
Now, we'll have a good time. It seems like, I'm just thinking about it. It seems like a lifetime away. The weather finally turned good here. It's like 80 degrees outside.
It's absolutely pissing it down right now.
I don't know how you guys should move. That's
yeah, tell me about it.
But the weather's good here, and I just want to enjoy like this time of the year. So I don't want to like be thinking ahead to Dallas.
No.
That means a whole winter. That means like the fucking Christmas and New Year's and all that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, man.
Not my favorite stuff.
No. But we will be there. I can promise you that. Callum's already got the hotels booked, so we will be there. But
okay.
You're coming back again, Cary, because we're never going to let you not come back because we love you way too much.
I told you when we started this that I wasn't feeling 100%, but you guys perked me up. So I'm up to about 80% right now.
Well,
mission accomplished.
There you go. That means a lot to us. And yeah, I knew we would. But
as far as the thing with George Napolitano, just let me know. And I'd be happy to do that. That would be so much fun.
Yes. Well, I'm speaking to him on Monday, so I'll run it by Job. I mentioned it briefly before, and he's totally down to do it. And so I'll remind him on Monday, and we'll get something going.
Well, we haven't had a guest on Last Stop Penn Station yet, because although my friend AJ, who does he's very good, but we haven't attempted to do a Zoom thing, record the whole thing, but he does this for a living with design and web stuff. So he's been doing a lot of those recently. So one of the first people I have 3 people lined up. One of them is George. One of them is Bushwhacker Luke, and one of them is Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And if you guys ever did you guys ever interview Luke?
No, I have sent a DM to him, but I don't know if he reads his DMs. I'd love to get Luke.
I'll talk to him if you're interested.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love that.
And Kevin Sullivan also, I could get you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Good God, yes, please. Yeah, we would love that. I have tried to reach out to both, but again, I don't know if everybody looks at the DMs and stuff. So, but I would love.
Well, Kevin's not on Twitter. I talk to him like every day. Matter of fact, here's the last. If you could see the red, you probably can't see it, but the last while we were doing this, he called me. So it's like the old guys talk to each other every day because as opposed to texting, because we never know, could be the last time. So,
well, I would be eternally grateful, Cary, to speak to both of those guys.
Well, if you do Kevin, it'd be on the phone. He doesn't do. He's not. And I don't know about Luke. I think Luke could do Zoom. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I did try to get Luke, but again, I don't know if he looks at his Twitter messages or not. But
I'll send to him for you.
That'd be wonderful. I can't thank you enough. But before we let you go, let's just make sure everybody knows as well to watch Ring of Honor, to listen to Last Stop Penn Station. I can't thank you enough.
My pleasure. It's always great to talk to you guys. Hit me up whenever you're bored and you're desperate. When you're desperate for an old dog guest, I'm like an old dog. I'm here just laying on the rug, waiting for someone to call my name.
Cary, we're really at the bottom of the barrel, aren't we? When we have to get the former owner of Ring of Honor, current ambassador, and somebody who knows everybody in the business, has interesting stories. That's really the bottom of the barrel, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
We love you too, man. Speak to you soon.
All right, boys. Take care. Bye-bye.